author called Spencer. Yeah, so this is a book by the author called Spencer Johnson. And just to give a background, I always used to, when I was a kid, maybe 8, 10 years old, whenever I used to go to the railway stations, you have these wheeler bookstores typically on the railway platforms, and this was one of the books which always catched my eye. I never got a chance to buy it then, and I always thought this looks like an amazing book, and I should read it someday. And I have read it a couple of times now, and it is obviously a very uh, uh, important and very amazing story in the way it represents a lot of things. So what I've done is I've kept it as a mix of metaphors and a little bit of frameworks as well, in terms of how the story revolves. The story is pretty simple. Story is about four characters here. Two are small humans called Hem and Haw, and there are two rats called Sniff and Scurry. And these four characters are there in a big maze where they have been there forever. Is what is showcased in the book. And the story goes like, they are in the search of cheese, and everything in this book is all about metaphors. The maze is a metaphor, the cheese, and my today's session will be mostly about that as well, wherein we'll decode what each of these represent. So, I'll just brief the story first. So the story goes simply like this, wherein the the four characters here, they are in on the lookout for cheese, and there are multiple stations demarcated as station C, station E, D, and similarly like that. And then there are some dark areas in that maze, and there are some areas where there is cheese, and etc etc. So initially they look out for quite some time, and they eventually figure out that there is a lot of cheese there in station C. And they feel that there is enough cheese for their entire lifetime, and they start kind of going there and having cheese every day and going back to sleep, and finding their homes nearby that cheese station C and things like that. What is shown here is that the rats are pretty practical in the way they are able to decode that, whenever the cheese is getting reduced in the cheese station C, they're ready that okay, it will eventually fade away one day. But these humans, they feel that it will be there forever. So that is the kind of framework it is shown. And one day, when they come in the morning, the cheese is gone, there is no cheese. The Sniff and Scurry, the rats, they are ready to accept the change, and they move on in the lookout for new cheese stations across the maze. And they're gone, but Hem and Haw, they remain there. And then they remain there for some time, and Haw is after a few days, he feels that maybe Sniff and Scurry have found the new cheese, so I should also go on the lookout. And he eventually goes. But Hem is a character over here who eventually does not move. He has a fear of change in his mind, that if I go out, I may die or something like that. And eventually, till the end of the book, he doesn't move. But Haw has moved. Whether or not he has found the cheese or not, that remains unanswered. But we'll talk about what each of these metaphors represent. First metaphor is the cheese here, which represents goals and desires, the constant pursuits that we are all in, and the importance of adaptation throughout the changes. So the key theme across the book is that first one being the change is inevitable, something which I saw yesterday in Vasuji's status also. It says that the same thing in Hindi, right? So, and it's said in Bhagavad Gita, it's a core principle of Buddhism, Anicca, it is called in Buddhism, right, in the Pali language. So everything around us is changing. Change is the only constant we hear in the corporate lives as well, right? And adapting to all of those changes is what helps us thrive. Being okay with those changes is what helps us thrive. So let us decode each of these metaphors one by one, starting with cheese. Obviously, the cheese here is something that can represent anything that is our goal. It could be happiness, it could be peace, it could be professional goals, personal goals, anything and everything that gives us that joy, happiness in life. That is the cheese that is being depicted over here, in search of which we are on the lookout for, and looking throughout our lives for. Adaptation is, in terms of understanding that whatever cheese we have will eventually be gone, so we should be okay with that, and adaptable in life in terms of, okay, there will be things which come in life and will go, and we should also move on with the old cheese gone, and we should start looking for the new cheese and finding that. And in that entire pursuit, for asking the right set of questions, in terms of, what would be my new cheese. So most of the time, most of us are not even aware that, they feel that there is some void in life, but what it is, because of what should I look out for, that is something is missing. So we should be asking these right sort of questions. What is my new cheese? What is that new, thing that will give me that happiness, peace of mind, or whatever is important to us, right? Second, uh, metaphor that is there is the maze itself, right? There's all these four characters are in this large maze, which is full of twists and turns. So it eventually, from my perspective, represents our life journey and its challenges itself. So because like the maze, which is full of uncertainties and twists, same is true for our lives as well, right? There are all sorts of uncertainties. No day is same to the other, and there are different experiences we all go through in every single day. We don't None of us for sure know what is exactly tomorrow is going to turn out like. So that is where the maze represents the life's journey itself, and navigating through these dead ends, bumping into some walls, and hurting ourselves, and then figuring out, okay, this is the way to navigate through this maze, through the life journey. That is something that it teaches. Learning from the failures itself, uh, th- those are the things that it is teaching us, right? Accepting and moving forward to from all of these twists and turns, that's yet another thing that is taught. uh, Looking at the characters and what each of them represent here from the perspective of metaphors. Sniff and Scurry, the two rats, they are proactive action takers. Just give me a second. Sorry, my wife was hearing it in the background and I was hearing the echo, so I just requested her to mute. So, Sniff and Scurry are the two rats. They are proactive action takers. They represent another beautiful thing about the story is all these four characters, and Hope is a character actually which comes from in the next sequel of the book. I've just kept her for reference here, but I'll tell you about that, maybe a glimpse into that, and how that may be important. But what is important is all of these characters represent our state of mind at different junction of our life, and if you go through the book, you'll get a better understanding of it as well, maybe. So Sniff and Scurry are the proactive action takers. They are constantly on the ready for whatever new changes may come. So it is shown that they are always having their shoes tied around their neck, so that whenever there is a need to run, they'll just wear them and run around on the lookout for the new cheese immediately. Hem is the person who initially has a resistance to change, but eventually he has the resistance to change, and he does not move till the end. So it represents the fear and fear of change, and staying in the comfort zone. So that kind of a character is Hem. Haw is slow in terms of accepting the change, but eventually he adapts to the changes and moves on and looks for new opportunities, the new cheese in this case. Hope is not a part of Who Moved My Cheese, but the sequel itself, which we also read as a part of the group, um, is a character which eventually guides him, who did not move till the end, to look out for new opportunities, new perspectives, and how his belief was a limiting belief in the story. So Hope is shown as a character, but again, she's a metaphor in this case, wherein Hope is showing us new perspectives, helping us understanding how our beliefs are trying to, they can either uh, crush us or maybe help us thrive. So it's all about the kind of beliefs we have. So it symbolizes the kind of possibilities that exist in our life. Um, And again, old cheese and new cheese is what represents our old cheese is the outdated goals and habits which we used to have, but it's no longer helping us. And sticking to that, sticking to why my old cheese has moved can be, hindering our progress. And it may be like sticking to our comfort zone, but not moving and cribbing. But eventually, looking out for this new cheese is what helps us. New opportunities, cheese represents new opportunities. Once we let go the attachment to the old cheese, we are able to embrace the new cheese and get into those new perspectives, new roles, new challenges, be it from our career, be it from our life. All it can represent a lot of different things. And old cheese, and I mean, to ask questions that what is that old cheese that we may be holding on to. Because in different aspects of life, we may be pretty advanced in our career, but maybe in our personal life we have some limiting belief which is holding us back. Maybe we are holding to some sort of old cheese. So those sort of questions can help us introspect and learn better from this book. There are a lot of writings on the wall being talked about in the book. So whenever and they are moving from one maze to the other, one wall to the other, there are a lot of writings on the wall which someone or the other has left. Whenever one of them passes through, they would write something on the wall, and as a message for the other one. So those messages typically represent that, they are like, that old cheese will no longer keep you happy. Those kind of messages are there, but eventually these messages are like learnings for from life. And it can represent like maybe journaling to an extent wherein we are kind of taking out the learnings from our life and writing it for ourselves so that it helps us in the future. And lesson these lessons learned from the past eventually guide our actions in the future and help us create a belief that will help us grow. And obviously reflecting on the learnings will help us adapt to changes faster and learn better. And like I talked about the shoes earlier, right? So shoes tied around the neck, it shows a preparedness actually. So we should always be ready in life for any changes. There used to be a saying I heard in one of these spiritual organizations, that we should always have our bags packed, not for a journey to Hyderabad or Goa, but to journey to the next life maybe, right? So we don't know whether we'll live another day or not. So we should always be in like Steve Jobs said, living each day as if it was our last. So that is kind of the readiness, and it can apply to different aspects. That was a spiritual angle I just said, but we should be ready for smaller changes, change of jobs. Our employer may ask us to let go tomorrow. That's fine, that can happen, right? So we all should be kind of prepared for any kind of changes, be it at a smaller level or be it at a larger level, in terms of our entire life itself. So staying prepared in terms of continuously learning and improving ourselves from different angles, from the career standpoint, upgrading ourselves professionally, from the life aspect, maybe upgrading ourselves spiritually. And what we do in FELD is exactly what that, right? Through going through all these books and learning uh, in various aspects of our lives. And all these give us a lot of reflective questions in terms of whether we are ready for the next big change in our life. So that's one thing. And overall, if we were to look at the conclusion for this entire thing, so I think the key summary is, we should always be adaptable. We should always be ready to let go our limiting beliefs, and have a lot of self-awareness in terms of understanding what's the limiting beliefs that that is holding us back from moving on, and stuff like that. And we should be on the constant journey of personal reflection also, when in terms of understanding when things change. So those two humans, Hem and Haw, it is showcased that they feel that this cheese will be there forever. Sometimes we feel that some of these changes, some of these things in life we are entitled to. It will always be there, it has to be there, it cannot move. maybe our job that we have worked for 20 years. I mean, in the scenario today, an employer can let go people who are there for 20 years also tomorrow. They won't think twice, right? But a lot of times it becomes difficult if we are in that kind of mind frame that we are not ready to accept that the cheese has moved. So identifying when the cheese has moved, or that cheese can move anytime, so that is a big realization, and can help in a lot of aspects of personal journey as well. And in terms of what you can take back from this learning is session is that, applying these lessons from the book, metaphorical lessons. Obviously the story itself may sound silly about some imaginary humans who are size of the rat, and they are looking for some cheese and living life across cheese. But there is a lot of metaphorical lessons, and applying these lessons to our personal and professional life is eventually what would help us, and help us stay prepared for embracing growth and opportunities. One thing we did in the last session we did with Mansi was looking at few frameworks. Johari window happens to be one of the good frameworks to reflect on the personal journey, personal life. So I thought maybe I'll use that towards the end to just see how it maps to this book, Who Moved My Cheese, right? So this framework is typically good to analyze our own lives, wherein we analyze on the y-axis, as you see, right? It is the fact, it is about others, what others do not know about us and what others know about us. And on the x-axis, as you see on the top, what we know about ourselves or we do not know about ourselves. And based on that, these four areas get created in our life. One is the open area, which we also know and everyone else also know. Then there are some blind areas or blind spots in our life which everyone else knows about us seemingly, but we don't know. For example, in this case, the story of him, everyone else who would have read, or millions of people who would have read the book, are able to understand that him is very adamant on his belief that his cheese cannot move, and he should go out on the lookout for the new cheese. But he does not, because he has some limiting beliefs which is holding him back. He has this blind spot in his life which he is not able to look at. Similarly, in terms of something which is known to us as well as known to them, in terms of Sniff and Scurry itself, is the open area where Sniff and Scurry are the two rats who are always self-aware and proactively adapt to new changes. They also know that, we also know that. From the hidden areas perspective, these are the aspects which are not known to others but known to the self, or the known to the person who's evaluating on this matrix. So in this case, it could be hem's denial itself. So wherein hem internally has this fear of change, because a lot of times externally, what world looks at certain actions, for this case, we may see that hem is adamant, but hem is not just adamant. He has this fear of change internally, right, which keeps him in the fear of moving on. So that way, these could be hidden areas which are not known to others, but we know about ourselves. And then there are areas which are not known to others and not known to self also. This could be like areas where we can discover new potentials. For example, what could be our new cheese? uh, Nobody else knows this, neither do we. So trying to ask ourselves the right questions, doing our own no, work in terms of figuring out that new cheese, those new growth opportunities, would be something that can help us grow in this life. So this unknown area is something that we should all try to look out for and try to figure out what could be those new potentials. So yeah, this was my last slide from today's discussion. Thank you so much for your time. I think I exceeded by a couple of minutes. Sorry for that. Thank you.
Yeah, you've exactly taken 19 minutes. So 20 minutes is the budgeted time.
Perfect, sir. My slide was showing like 22 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's open for discussion.
Saurabh, you want to say something about hope, right? That fifth one, which is related to next portion of the book.
I mean, yeah, we have said a lot about it in the other session. I mean, in terms of my personal anecdotes or something that we discussed the other day, or in general?
No, in general, that there is a character hope, right? There is a fifth element,
Yeah,
isn't it?
correct. So there is a sequel to the book. Actually, this book
Okay,
ends.
okay,
This book ends at him not having moved from out of the maze,
okay,
and nobody knows what eventually happens, right? So
okay,
the author Spencer Johnson, he had this in mind, wherein he wanted to actually let the world know what eventually happened,
okay. It's the
and
next question.
yeah, he actually passed away in 2017, I think, and he
Okay,
has
okay.
written this book, but it did not get published till then. His
Ah, okay.
family members kind of made sure that it gets published, and
Published. Okay.
so it was published very recently. While Who Moved My Cheese is a very old book, maybe
Yes, yes.
34. I don't know exact time, but it's pretty old. I remember seeing it at railway stations when I was five,
Yeah,
six.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
bought it around 2003 or so. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, yeah.
So
Thanks,
yeah,
thanks,
sorry,
Saurabh.
sorry
Yeah.
about I didn't talk about Hope still. So Hope
Yes.
is a character in that book, in that second story, which
Second story.
eventually helps him to kind of understand about new possibilities
Mm-hmm.
and show a way around out of the
Okay.
maze actually eventually.
Good, good. Yeah. Thanks, Saurabh. Cheers. Thank you. Thanks, Saurabh.
Most welcome.
Hello, everyone. Saurabh, it was awesome. And actually, I have attended a few sessions with Mansi about this book, but I was not getting, that interest. I don't know, like why. But today, when you summarized it in a, and give a analogy, right? That's awesome. Thank you, and hats off to you.
Most welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, hi Rajesh, we can hear you.
Hi, sir. Can you elaborate which jobs or professions will be subjected to more of this philosophy, means which is moving away and they are in danger zone in coming 5 10 years, and they must look in a new perspective, like the world is coming of AI, other things which are changing fast. So, how practically, what do you see? Which jobs and professions will major change coming days?
Yeah, I think this question is beyond the book, and I don't know
Practical
if
trans.
correct. So I don't know if I'm qualified enough to answer this from a professional level, because I work, obviously I have my own siloed
You are in
view.
IT,
I work in IT, yes. So
so in your context, so if you can say that's perfectly
yeah,
okay.
I mean, I have created a narrative for myself, and which is in a way related to the book Psycho Cybernetics we'll be reading tomorrow morning. It's a book which has changed my life and the view I take towards life. So I mean, I personally have created this narrative for myself, wherein I believe that as I'm in a customer facing role, wherein I help the salespeople sell the solution from a technical perspective. So I'll be the technical enabler for all my sellers. So as long as the world exists, people keep creating something to sell, and something has to be sold. People like me will be required. As long as I am a good communicator, as long as I am able to stay connected with whatever latest is happening in industry, in tech, in AI, I will always be required. So that's I mean, it may sound a little overconfident, but that's a narrative I have created for
No,
myself. So
no. I
and
will tell you one thing. Yeah, yeah, please.
Yeah, no, I was just completing that in terms of, whenever any profession has to look at this lens, right? Whether, I mean, this is a very common question. A lot of programmers may think that now all of these AI tools would be able to end to end create a lot of apps and a lot of things. But at all points, and for example, a few days back, somebody asked me to create a website exactly looking like this web page. And it's something possible by AI even today. Even for them, it was such a simple thing. I could just give a screenshot of that entire web page to ChatGPT, and it gave me full code, and I knew what to correct, what to ask it to correct, and it gave me the recorrected version. But because I knew how a website is created, I knew where it is hosted, I knew everything that actually could have done. I mean, I knew it 15 years back also. So because I am so confident about the technology that goes behind it, the way it is worked, right? For example, even from marketing perspective, someone is writing a copy of maybe a brochure, or a writing copy or content. So as long as you know the basics, uh, and you are able to guide, because somebody very beautifully few days back quoted this: AI can only create what some human has ever created, but only a human can create something that no human has ever created. So
Awesome.
so humans can never be, done away with, whatever AI, whatever model may come through. And as long as you're confident about your skills, as long as you are keeping yourself updated about all these AI changes that are happening and leveraging it to your power. For example, this entire presentation the other day we did, right? How to create a presentation like this. So I mean, it is useful to us, right? Instead of spending a few hours on creating this, I'm not too worried about how to create a good looking presentation. I can create it in 5 minutes. I can spend more time on what value should I deliver, what should be the kind of stories I should be talking about, what should be the, anecdotes I should be talking about. So I do more of this, the human work. All this AI work, let the AI do. So yeah, that's my take on it. Sorry, maybe I have
Yes, yes.
spoken a lot more than
No,
expected.
you have given a good perspective. I wanted to share only one example from my side. I'm working in real estate industry as a business advisor. There were two types of people who were purchasing the assets. One was a consumer, another was an investor. So I have seen one big company, means Lothas, and their another branch has come with plots, selling plots, and it is just for investment purposes, right?
Right,
But their 100% sale is online. Nobody comes to see the site. Nobody comes to discuss in the office because they have faith in the brand, and they are giving documents online, all the research and law firms reports. So the investor who is in different countries, means NRIs and Indians, are buying that. So it was a phenomenal change. 10 years before, this was not at all possible to think also.
right.
Such a hard asset sold on online.
So, and it is very much similar to banks being digitized in 1980s, I guess. That time people feared none of our
Correct.
jobs will remain. And, when Infosys was creating all this banking software, there used to be a lot of backlash
Yes.
from the people that my job will go. And, because of that, they didn't want that solution to come in. But now you see both, I mean, if that did not happen, we could not have even thought of the world we live in today, right?
Yes.
So new
Yes.
jobs
So all
get
the
created and everything happens around
yes,
the
yes,
same
all the brick
ecosystem.
and mortar industries are also going in full speed now whenever it is possible.
Right, right. Thanks for sharing that
Yeah.
perspective.
Thank you.
Rajesh, sorry, can you hear me, Rajesh? Hello?
Yes, Milan, we can
Yeah,
hear you.
Milind.
Yeah. I actually, the topic you mentioned about real estate. From
Yes.
from yesterday morning only in my group, my engineering college group, basically, one of the guy, he is
Okay.
actually doing exactly the same thing. He's trying to sell the property in Worli to all my NRA friends in US, basically, and everything is their discussion is online.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
just to give you the background, basically, yes. Um, I work as a program manager in a telecom company, and this book
Mhm.
relates me very well because what I'm the change I'm thinking is Basically, yes, I think, geez, that success is with me. I have a secure job and everything, all good. You think internally that I'm irreplaceable. But what
Yes.
the things which are changing after reading this book or this type of books or this presentation, basically what's happening now is in my company only. Every company works for the profit. So what they are thinking is just outsourcing everything, to other
Yes.
companies. They are not adding the any headcounts new, nothing. So they are just giving that all the work to outside company and asking us to get it done as a program manager or project manager from them. So basically that now created a scenario that it may happen in future that they will give the project manager and program manager job also to the outsourced. Why they are interested in their
Yes.
sales and profit. So in that particular case, again, it is exactly the same story. Then in that case, I need to prepare myself. Okay, so what? And as Saurabh said, it is absolutely correct, which I completely believe. That is what is the core strength I have. As a person, AI
Yes.
and machine or anything cannot replace our strength, which is as a program manager. And I think communication is the key for anything. No one can replace that. So in your real estate, this thing, yes, even if it is online and everything, but at the end there is a human element required, which we need to sharpen, which I'm focusing on in my case. I need to be confident on my
Mhm.
skills and my this thing, because definitely in future all these things are going to happen. Like I read this thing the day for yesterday, that in future this 9 to 5 job whole structure will get cancelled. 9 to 5. That is
Hmm.
how I work for last 30 years. But it is going to change. So I need to change my mentality somehow to adapt. So this book is all about that.
Yes.
Is my take on that one. Hope that's my take. Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you, everyone.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes, Milind, thank you.
Yes,
Yes,
Shivani
Rajesh.
and Mansi, you want to comment something on the as the judge part of it? I know you are not the judges today, but
Yeah, I got confused. No, no, no. I actually joined in very late, and there is some
okay,
sound
fine.
disturbance at my end. So, but I loved how
Right.
Saurabh has presented and associated Zori's window with the book. Yeah, the other day when we were doing the presentation, he was trying to relate it with some other things, but this was not there in it, and I am surprised to see this, and it was a pleasure. So thank you, Saurabh. I would really want to go back and check the recording for the part I missed. And thank you, Manjeet, for sending me a quick reminder to join in, and it has started. I did not want it to miss it, but thank you so much.
Thank
Shivani?
you.
Yeah, wonderful presentation by Saurabh, and the way he taught in creating presentations easily within just few minutes, or with the help of AI. So that is incredible part. And today also he presented the book very well, and definitely change is something that is inevitable. And he presented very well. Yeah, as Mansi said, Jory window he infused with the book, so that was a creative twist. So thank you, Sora, for introducing today's book and presenting it so well.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else wants to share anything?
Mansi, quick question: have you given those recording to Vasudevji? Was Saurabh's recording actually? Are those on YouTube videos? Your channel,
Saurabh
Vasudevji.
has printed it. Saurabh has given it in the. It is his own channel which he has
Ah,
shared
okay,
on
okay.
the
Thanks. Yeah.
group. Yeah,
Thanks,
it is
Saurabh. Yeah.
shared in the group as already.
Okay, okay, okay. I seen the
Okay.
first one. I just want to say the second one. Okay, thank you, thank you.
So yes, Saurabh, excellent presentation, excellent color work. I can say the slides were very beautiful, colorful, and the ending with Johari window was something very interesting, and it will help for anyone who is teaching the Johari window to take this example and relate it faster than to assume so many things. Okay, what is hidden, what is blind, what is open, it's a bit, what is mirror is a bit difficult to understand without having a strong example in hand. So that is one thing. The second part, that feedback, important feedback that I want to give is that throughout the presentation, it is felt that you have assumed everyone knows the story, and it is true. Many of you have read together the book, but still, it is important that give that story, because without that, the understanding of the metaphors and the story is a bit difficult unless you know the story as such. So that is one thing which is missed out. You can only simply say what is there. You put that there are some action C, plus what you call cheese N, cheese S, cheese C station, whatever names it was there. You're told that, but quickly in a minute or a two, you could have crossed through the story to make that connection to what you are explaining throughout the book. Then 3 points that are there from the book, that focus on change and learn from the change and adapt to the change. Those have been covered, and it could have been more interesting if it would have been added to the more personal examples to relate it to people more closely to each other. So this is my feedback on the book, on your presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, I'll try to give out the story better maybe in whenever I do it next.
One more thing I would like to add here. Now it's a competition for each one of us to prepare better slides than before.
Yeah, so
Who can
this
design?
is
Who
also a
can
change that
design?
is coming up.
Yeah,
Yeah, there is a
who
new
can
cheese
design
coming
better
up to
slides?
this.
And
Yes,
that too within just few minutes.
and for a few minutes. Yes.
One more